Once upon a time, on the edge of a big forest, lived a little girl with her mom and dad. Every time the little girl went into the forest, in a red hood she would be clad. The little girl felt so safe in that forest, all because of the red hood she wore. The little girl's name became Little Red Riding Hood, a name that she did adore. One day the little girl's mom baked a cake all tasty and sweet. It was a present for Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother as a treat.